The night lay quiet over the hills, a sweep of dark sky stretching endlessly above the grazing fields. The shepherds kept their silent watch, their fires glowing dimly against the cold as they huddled in warm cloaks. They were men used to solitude, used to the vastness of the night and the slow chorus of distant winds. Yet even in their simplicity, they carried a quiet strength, grounded in the steady rhythm of days spent tending flocks and listening to the whispers of the land beneath their feet. One of them, the youngest, gazed toward the horizon, sensing something he could not name. There was a stillness that felt different tonight, a hum in the air, a soft pulsing glow just beyond the hills. Before he could speak, the sky erupted. A burst of light fell over them like a curtain of dawn unfolding in an instant. Their hearts pounded, their breath caught in their throats, and the world transformed. In a single heartbeat, fear rushed through them, yet woven through that fear was something warmer, something that drew them upward instead of pushing them away. And then the voice came, gentle, celestial, steady, a message carried on waves of radiance. A child had been born, a savior wrapped in cloth, lying in a manger, waiting in a humble place where heaven had bent low to meet the earth. Before the shepherds could gather their thoughts, the sky burst again, this time with singing, an echo of praise that seemed to stretch from one end of creation to the other. It was as if every star had found its own song and poured it into the world. The sound trembled through the shepherds' bones and left them breathless with wonder. When the light receded and the hills returned to their quiet darkness, the shepherds stared at one another, trembling but ignited with purpose. None of them hesitated, they rose in unison, abandoning fear, abandoning doubt, abandoning the comfort of staying where they were. Something inside them had opened, awakened, a longing to witness the impossible truth spoken over them. They took off running across the fields, laughter mixing with their breaths, their footsteps pounding through the night as though carried by the very wind that wrapped around them. The youngest shepherd ran ahead, his heart racing faster than his feet could carry him. He felt the night air biting at his cheeks, felt the world shifting beneath him, as though the earth itself was alive with the message they had received beside him. The older shepherds smiled, their lines of weariness replaced by something bright and determined. They were men of the fields, but tonight they were messengers of wonder. The town came into view, its quiet streets lit faintly by scattered lanterns and soft glow of windows. The shepherds searched for the sign they had been given, their breaths forming clouds in the cold night. And then they found it, the stable with the faintest light seeping through the cracks of rough wooden boards. The younger shepherd slowed, his courage wavering, not from fear, but from awe. He had never felt so small, so humbled, so drawn forward by something he couldn't fully understand. as the shepherds entered, their faces open, welcoming Mary held the child close, the infant soft breathing, filling the space with a peace that settled over every heart present. The shepherds approached, slowly falling to their knees without a command, overcome by the gentle, holy weight of the moment. The youngest shepherd's eyes filled with tears he didn't try to hide. This child, this tiny life wrapped in cloth, was everything the angel had said, and more. He felt as though he were standing on the edge of a miracle, one so vast it reached into the sky, and yet so intimate it touched the quietest corners of his spirit. Joseph nodded at them, gratitude written across his features. Mary smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the glow of the lantern beside her. The shepherds stayed there for a long time, saying nothing, letting the silence speak for them. In that stillness, they felt the world shift. They felt the weight of hope settling into their bones. They felt the beginnings of a story that would reshape everything. When it was time to leave, the shepherds stepped back. With reverence, they walked out into the night renewed, their hearts burning with a light they had never known. As they returned to the hills, they could not stop telling the story to one another, to the stars, to the quiet winds that carried their voices across the fields. The youngest shepherd looked once more at the horizon, feeling as though the world had deepened around him, become richer, fuller, illuminated by a promise that would never fade. And on that night, through the stillness of winter and the soft echo of distant stars, the shepherds became the first voices to carry the news of hope, a hope wrapped in cloth, lying in a desert night stretched wide and endless, painted in deep blues and muted gold where the moon touched the sand. A caravan moved slowly across the open plain, the soft rhythm of hooves pressing patterns into the earth. 3 travelers rode at the front, wrapped in heavy cloaks that shielded them from the cold breath of winter. They were scholars, seekers, watchers of the sky, men who had spent their lives searching for meaning, woven between constellations and ancient whispers. Tonight, something greater pulled them forward. A star unlike any they had recorded burned above the horizon, steady, brilliant, unwavering. It shimmered with a purity the travelers could not explain, as though it had been placed there with intention. A lantern hung in the heavens to guide them. They had followed its rising, studied its glow, felt its message settle into their chests, like a calling too powerful to ignore. And now crossing the long distances of quiet land, they carry gifts and questions and a hope they barely dare to speak aloud. The eldest of the three kept his gaze fixed on the sky, reciting softly the prophecies he had memorized long ago, his voice blending with the wind that curled around them. The second traveler, younger and restless, tried to imagine the child they were seeking, a newborn marked by the heavens, a king not born in a palace, but revealed by the patterns of the night. The third admitted in quiet aloud his thoughts to drift to the meaning of such a sign. Why would the universe bend itself around a single child? What kind of life would begin beneath such a star? As the caravan continued, the cold deepened, yet warmth flickered inside them. The stars seemed to pulse with every mile they crossed, almost as if it were breathing alive, guiding them with gentle but unrelenting certainty. The travelers spoke of kingdoms of hope, of the strange peace they felt growing stronger with each passing hour, and beneath their words was an unspoken truth that this journey was changing them. Long before they reached its destination, they rested briefly at an oasis where the water reflected the star with startling clarity. The youngest knelt beside the pool, cupping his hands to drink. As ripples spread across the surface, he saw the light tremble and fracture, yet never fade. He felt a stirring inside, a realization that the child they sought was not only a king for nations, but a turning point in the story of every wandering heart. He rose with new resolve, his breath forming clouds in the cold air, as the caravan resumed its path. Hours passed and the landscape shifted. The distant outline of Bethlehem appeared, like a shadow rising from the earth. The stars shone directly above it, burning brighter than ever, a flame suspended in the heavens, calling them forward with undeniable purpose. The travelers exchanged a glance, each feeling the same tremor of awe, the same quiet trembling that whispered they were nearing the moment their long search had been leading toward. Through narrow streets they walked, their steps soft against the packed earth. The town slept, unaware of the wonder that hovered above its rooftops. The star rested over a small shelter, a place simple, humble, so unlike any royal hall the travelers had imagined. Yet the light pointed there with certainty, as though heaven had chosen this place specifically, carefully, lovingly. Inside they found the child, Mary looked up as they entered, her tired eyes warm with welcome. Joseph stood beside her, steady and protective, yet open to whatever this night required. The infant lay wrapped in cloth, his small chest rising and falling with the soft rhythm of new life. The eldest traveler felt his knees weaken. This child in this humble place held the weight of something eternal. The younger felt his breath catch, a sudden rush of clarity overtaking him. The quiet one closed his eyes, letting the magnitude
The night settled gently over the hills, a velvet hush stretching across the fields. Where the shepherds kept their quiet watch, the air held the scent of cold earth and winter grass, and the sky wide, ancient, endless, glimmered with 1,000 distant fires. Their flock slept in soft clusters, breathing slow, warm clouds into the darkness. The shepherds huddled near a small fire, its light flickering like a fragile heartbeat against the vastness of the world around them. And they spoke in low voices, words drifting like sparks carried by the wind. Stories of long days of wandering sheep, of the steady rhythm of a life lived under the open sky. Yet beneath their calm routine, a longing stirred, subtle but persistent, as though they were waiting for something they could not name. A shift in the wind, a sign in the heavens, a whisper that the world was about to change. And then the silence broke, the sky bright and slow at first, as if dawn had come too early. But then it swelled into brilliance, a radiance so pure, so overwhelming, that the shepherds stood frozen where they were. The fire at their feet seemed to dim beside the flood of light pouring from above. It wrapped the hills in gold, turning the ordinary earth into something that shimmered with possibility.
In the center of that light stood a messenger, not of this world, yet bearing a peace that felt strangely familiar, like remembering a melody forgotten since childhood. The shepherds trembled, their hands tightening on their staffs, but the messenger's voice was gentle, woven with warmth and clarity.
It told them of a child newborn, humble, resting in a manger, a child who carried hope like a flame cupped carefully against the winds of time, a child who would reshape the night and bring dawn to every restless soul.
The light expanded and suddenly the sky burst into song. Voices layer like mountains, strong and rising, filling the air with a harmony that felt both ancient and fiercely alive.
It washed over the shepherds in waves, a chorus of joy, of peace offered freely to the world. of the heavens bending low to touch the quiet fields of earth. The shepherds fell to their knees, their hearts pounding with awe, their eyes reflecting the glow of something too holy to fully comprehend. And then as quickly as it had come, the sky fell silent again. The hills returned to darkness, the wind resumed its quiet wandering, and the stars hung overhead as though nothing extraordinary had happened at all.
But the shepherds were changed, the night no longer felt cold, and the world no longer felt ordinary.
They looked at each other, a new fire in their eyes, an understanding that they carried a message far greater than themselves.
They rose, leaving their flock behind, trusting that the same light that had called them forward would guard what they left. Their footsteps moved quickly over the uneven ground, hearts pulling them toward Bethlehem, toward the fragile miracle waiting there. The sky above seemed clearer, the constellations marking a path they had never noticed before. Every breath felt sharper, every heart beat faster, as though the world itself was urging them onward.
When they reached the town, it was quiet, the streets still and the windows dark. But a soft glow leaked from a modest shelter, a glow that echoed the light they had seen in the hills. They approached slowly, reverently, their breaths shallow with wonder inside.
They saw the child,
small, wrapped in simple cloth, resting in a manger shaped of weathered wood. Mary looked up calm and luminous, and Joseph stood watchful but welcoming.
the shepherds felt their souls bent like trees bowing before a warm wind. They knelt not out of duty, but out of the quiet certainty that they were witnessing the beginning of a story written before time began.
In the soft breath of that newborn, they heard the promise of a new dawn. A dawn meant not only for kings or scholars, but for ordinary men who watched the night and carried the weight of simple lives.
They left with hearts overflowing, returning to their hills with voices that could not stay silent. They told all who would listen of the light.
The road stretched far beyond the horizon, a ribbon of pale dust winding through the quiet emptiness of the east. The travelers moved slowly beneath the weight of the night, their silhouettes carved against dunes that shimmered like frozen waves beneath the moon. They had followed many paths before, but never one that stirred their hearts the way this one did. For above them burned a star unlike any they had ever seen.
flame suspended in the deep sky, bright enough to cast soft silver shadows across the sand. The star did not flicker like the others. It held steady, patient, calling them forward. With a certainty that settled into their bones, they carried gifts bound in cloth, treasures chosen with reverence and quiet awe. And though they were scholars of signs and seasons, this journey was more than study. It felt like answering a whisper written long before their birth. Cold night wrapped around them, but a strange warmth pulsed inside their chests, as though the light above had seeped into them. Wind brushed their robes, carrying the scent of distant cities and ancient soil. Their camels stepped softly, hooves sinking into cool layers of shifting earth. Sometimes the travelers spoke soft words about prophecy, about a king born in humility, about a world that might finally breathe again. Other times they walked in silence, listening to the rhythmic hush of the desert, as if the land itself was holding its breath. When dawn arose, washing in the sky in pale rose and muted gold, the star did not fade. It remained bright, almost defiant, guiding them even through daylight. Villagers they passed whispered among themselves, eyes lifted toward the star, wondering what it meant and why strangers followed it with such determined glowing hope. But the travelers kept moving, drawn by the certainty that their long search was nearing its end. They crossed valleys where wind sang through narrow cliffs, and fields where winter grasses swayed, bending like worshippers beneath the frost. At night they made small fires, sparks rising like prayers into the dark. One of them whispered that the world felt different, as if some hidden thread had been pulled, and all creation trembled with expectation. The others nodded, feeling the same quiet truth settling over them like falling snow. When they reached the gates of Jerusalem, their anticipation grew heavy and bright. But the city buzzed with confusion. No newborn king was celebrated here. No child was spoken of with wonder. The silence struck them deeply, but the star remained unwavering overhead, shining with almost tender persistence. So they continued, their steps slower but their resolve stronger, following the light beyond the city and into the rolling hills of Bethlehem. Night returned as they approached a small humble place, a shelter tucked beside an inn, lit by a gentle glow that seemed to echo the star itself. Their hearts pounded, not with fear, but with a reverence so fierce it nearly hurt. They dismounted quietly and approached the doorway, their breath rising in pale clouds. Inside the air was warm, filled with the faint scent of hay and fresh straw.
Mary sat beside the child, her face serene, while Joseph watched with quiet strength. The child lay wrapped in simple cloth, the soft rhythm of his breathing, like a lullaby written into the fabric of the world. The travelers froze, not because of the simplicity they found, but because of the profound stillness that filled the room the moment they entered. They knelt without being asked, placing their gifts one by one. Frankincense that carried the fragrance of prayer, gold that shimmered like the star above, and myrrh that whispered of both tenderness and sorrow. Yet even their precious offerings felt small in the presence of the quiet light resting in that manger. For the child looked like any child, fragile, tiny, vulnerable, and yet something deep within them recognized him as the center of the story the heavens had declared. Soft tears gathered in their eyes as they bowed their heads. The journey, the questions, the long nights, it all made sense now.
In the quiet night, where the frost begins to bloom along rooftops, I hear a trembling sound rising through the brittle air, a whisper of lanterns swinging gently like small prayers made of firelight, guiding every wandering heart toward a promise older than the stars. And I walk through the cold fields, breath turning into pale fog, thinking of how the world waited, aching softly for a dawn it could not yet name. I pass along the silent trees, their branches lifted like tired arms, reaching for warmth that never quite settles. And I wonder how many winters came before this night, how many footsteps carried hope without seeing its face. Somewhere far off, I hear a shepherd's distant call, echoing lightly as if wrapped in wool, almost fragile, almost holy. The lanterns flicker in the wind, their flames bending but never breaking, reminding me of the kind of faith that survives the long darkness, the kind that grows not in sunlight but in the hidden corners of longing. And I feel the weight of waiting, not despair, not sorrow, but the deep stillness before a miracle arrives. I imagine a young woman in a small room, her hands trembling softly over her heart, feeling life move beneath her ribs, like the first ripple of a river that will split history in two. She is wrapped in a quiet that hums with expectation, a quiet that knows more than it can speak, a quiet that carries both fear and a strange new brightness. Outside her window, stars gather like watchmen. One stands taller, fiercer, burning with a direction. Not just light, but intention. It leans over the hills, pointing the way for weary souls. And the world, though unaware, turns its face toward Bethlehem. I walk on, boots pressing into the frost-crusted soil, feeling the earth hold its breath. Every step seems to echo with ancient promise, with the unspoken ache of generations longing for the gentle arrival of a peace that doesn't conquer by might, but by presence. The lanterns sway again. I lift one in my hands, its heat kisses my palms and melts the cold from my skin. In its glow, the night is not so heavy. The shadows retreat ever so slightly, as though they know the darkness is losing ground. And I think of shepherds keeping watch under the same sky, leaning against stone, sharing stories to keep the night short. I think of how their hearts must have pounded when the heavens tore open like a curtain, revealing a stage of trembling glory. The announcement not thunderous but full of singing, not fearsome but overflowing with joy. Lanterns in the quiet night, leading the world toward a cradle carved from simplicity. No throne, no crown, just straw breath and a love so unguarded it could only arrive wrapped in the softness of a child. And suddenly the road beneath my feet feels warmer, as if the ground itself remembers that night, as if every winter since has carried the faint echo of that single radiant birth. I close my eyes and breathe in the cold air, letting the lantern glow against my face. And for a moment the whole world feels hushed, like the pause between heartbeats, the moment before the dawn breaks open. I see the manger in my mind, the wood worn and splintered, the air rich with the scent of hay, the quiet animals circling with gentle curiosity. And in the center, the child small enough to fit in the curve of a palm, yet vast enough to fill the silence of the ages. The lantern flame dances, its gold flicker mirroring the stars hanging over Bethlehem. And I know that even in the longest winter, even in the smallest, most hidden places, light finds a way to be born. So I keep walking, following the lanterns that led not to grandeur, but to wonder. And the night, once cold and distant, begins to feel like a friend carrying me toward a story that still warms the world from the inside out.